Peggy 18.
Call of Duty for the past 5 years has struggled to find a balance between what the community wanted and where the developers wanted to take the series. The result was games that attempted to reinvigorate the long-standing franchise but failed to impress the players. Last year's CGNgames and Activision, in almost a panic-based U-turn, attempted to resolve the issue by going back to its roots. Boots on the ground gameplay set in World War II. You would think that this would be a sure win and a hit with the community, but instead was met with a mixed response. But this year, it's the turn of the Black Ops series. Can one of the most successful names in the franchise change what has unfortunately become a yearly disappointment for players? This year's Call of Duty game has been split into 3 distinct areas: multiplayer, zombies, and the brand new mode Blackout. The problem straight away with this design decision is that Black Ops 4 does not feel like one cohesive game, but feels more like a compilation of different modes. And this is only the beginning of Black Ops 4's identity issues. But before we get into any of that, let's focus on Call of Duty's most popular mode, the multiplayer. It's clear that Treyarch, the developers behind the Black Ops series, wanted this iteration of multiplayer to be that of the classic Call of Duties gone by. Gone is the war running, gone is the space themed maps, and to most players' delight, gone are the jetpacks. This is the Call of Duty that you know and love, with some small additions in an attempt to keep things fresh. The biggest change, without a doubt, is something the series popularised years back, and that is auto heal. Black Ops 4 does away with auto heal in favour of a new self-healing action instead. Instead of hiding behind cover and waiting for your health to regenerate, you simply hit the command button and you start healing. This was clearly implemented to try and make matches more tactical, but instead of going the whole way, the healing action is simply on a cooldown that replenishes so quickly it actually ends up making games even easier, as you can heal yourself way quicker and far more often. Another addition, well, rather a reiteration, is specialists. Specialists are basically set characters you play as that have 2 abilities. One is one that can be used quite frequently, and the other is more like a super overpowered ability that can be activated far less. The idea is that teams tactically use each character's abilities to their advantage. Where on paper this sounds like a great idea, the reality is most people just completely ignore them and resort to the usual Call of Duty tropes of sprinting round like lunatics, which basically becomes a game of hide and seek and who can see who first. In terms of modes, multiplayer has all the classics that you come to expect from Call of Duty. Team Deathmatch, Domination and Hardpoint are all here, with the new additions such as Heist and my favourite by far, Control. These 2 new modes do a great job of encouraging players to use tactics and the new abilities, which sometimes result in some incredibly nail-biting moments, such as this moment in a game of Control where the match basically became a 2-on-2 with seconds to go. It's these moments that remind you why Call of Duty is one of the biggest franchises in the world. So let's move on to Zombies. Zombies started off as a small side mode all the way back in 2008 with the release of World at War. Over the years, the mode has become bigger and bigger, with this year's release seeing 3 huge maps and extra modded style modes such as Rush. If you're a Call of Duty Zombies fan, this is by far the year for you. As to be expected, the formula has largely stayed the same. You fight through increasingly more difficult waves of zombies while unlocking more areas of the map and discovering secrets with the points that you earn. What I love most about the maps this year though is the settings that the maps actually take place in. One named Voyage of Despair, a map based on the Titanic, was certainly a highlight, with a map based on the Roman Colosseum being a close second. It's largely a bit of dumb fun, but with a huge amount of secrets to uncover and a great emphasis on teamwork, the mode stands out as a highlight in a lackluster package. I tend to find that matches go on a bit too long, but this is totally a personal preference, and I know people who really love this mode love to see how long they can survive for and typically go for high scores. The final mode is Blackout. Blackout is the source of a lot of discussion on whether a Battle Royale mode has a place in a Call of Duty game. Whether it should be a free-to-play game or whether it should be in the Black Ops 4 package is a debate I don't think we quite have the answer to right now, but what I can tell you is that it's a well done, well polished Battle Royale clone that feels like PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds but with the Call of Duty signature gunplay. Is it a PUBG killer? No, but it is a fun little side mode that when you get bored of multiplayer you can jump into. The time to kill is still incredibly low like it is in multiplayer, which can lead to frustration, but it is still fun enough to play a few matches here and there. So let's finally address Black Ops 4's biggest problem. Yes, the single player campaign is completely gone. I'm very aware that I'm part of a very small minority that bought Call of Duty almost exclusively to play the campaign. It was something I look forward to every year, and its omission hurts the game more than you might think and far more than just a missing mode. The story was not only a great playable action movie, it was the very thing that gave that game that year personality and context. It would literally define the mechanics of the rest of the game. Take Modern Warfare 3 for example. A lot of the maps were based on locations from the campaign. Kill streaks, well, in that year's case, score streaks, were based on massive weapons from the story, and it most importantly gave everything a setting, tying the whole package and modes together. What we find in Black Ops 4 is 3 mismatched modes that don't relate to each other in any way. Generic army dude characters in multiplayer, no defined point in time or even a consistent setting. And then zombies literally takes place in different moments in time on each map. What the result is a lot of good ideas and game modes with no personality or consistency, which in my opinion makes for one of the most forgettable Call of Duties to date. Which brings me to my final verdict. Black Ops 4 keeps its signature gunplay and gameplay that makes Call of Duty what it is. It still feels incredible to play, and it does a great job of incentivizing you to keep playing through many unlocks and leveling up. It makes steps in the right direction, making matches more thoughtful and more tactical, but the tiny maps, rapid healing and low incentive to work as a team ultimately undoes any ideas of teamwork in most modes. Blackout is fun but ultimately forgettable, lacking any personality or incentive to keep playing. Zombies, however, builds upon what made the mode fun and stands out as one of the best years for zombie fans to date. But there's no getting away from it. The lack of a single player campaign ultimately hurts the whole game far more than I ever thought it would. Its absence leaves this year's Call of Duty with no personality, bland characters, and an overall disconnected compilation of game modes. It ultimately leaves you feeling like you've bought 3 small separate games thrown together into one package, and I don't mean that in a good way. Our final score for Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is a 6.5 out of 10, which means that this game is average. So as always, we give a morality score. This informs you of what to watch out for and if we agree with the age rating provided. This helps simply protect yourself and the people you may know if there are certain types of content that you want to avoid. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 has been given an age rating of an 18 by the UK PEGI Ratings Board. This is without a doubt an 18 and should only be played by people of that age group and above. The reason for this is mainly due to the over-the-top gore and violence. The most obvious is that of the zombies mode. Zombies are extremely graphic and blood and guts are regularly being shown to the audiences everywhere. Multiplayer and Blackout also see their fair share, with limbs regularly being torn off in massive explosions, and you'll often see the dismembered limbs rolling around the battlefield of dead players. Another issue, as mentioned in the main review, is the lack of a single player outside of a few tutorials also means there is a lack of context as to why you are fighting each other, which may be a good thing or a bad thing depending on your perspective, unlike last year's World War II, where the reasons were very clear, although that did raise other issues. The final thing that I want to mention is something that may affect my fellow Christians out there perhaps more so than others, and that is the extreme demonic symbolism everywhere in the zombies mode. I understand why the developers made the design decisions, but this is something that was not present in the original zombies mode back in 2008 and feels very unnecessary. It's something I know a lot of people want to avoid, so I'm letting you know here that it's present for that reason. Ultimately, this game is an 18 for a reason, and in my opinion, I think it's only suitable for people over that age. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 gets a morality score of a 3. So final scores for Call of Duty Black Ops 4 gets a game score of a 6.5 and a morality score of a 3. We hope you enjoyed this review. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you absolutely hated it, please give it a thumbs down. And if you want to see more like this, we're going to have tons of reviews coming up in the next few days, weeks and months, as this is gaming season at its finest. So please hit that subscribe button and you'll be notified of every new video coming. Did you agree with this review? Did you agree with the morality score? Let me know. Join the conversation down below in the comments, and we would love to hear from you. So thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Bye.